Welcome to Cadence Design Systems Fidelity Tutorial Tuesday, where we show you how to use a feature or demonstrate a technique in just a few minutes. In this video, we're going to show you the new Select by Histogram tool added to Fidelity Pointwise 2023 to facilitate the quick selection of similar entities. We used the same geometry in a previous video that is linked in the description to actually show and give a quick overview of the new selection tools that are available in Fidelity Pointwise 2023. These new selection tools are all presented in this particular toolbar. In this particular video, we're going to be looking at the very last option in the toolbar, which is the Select by Histogram option. If you click on that button, a new pop-up window called Select Similar Histogram is going to show up, where you have different options to define your histogram. If you click the same button again, that particular window is going to disappear. If you want the window to be a little bit more permanent, you can actually click on that arrow at the top of the toolbar, and you can see that this particular frame is going to show up. You have in here two sections. The top one is Select Similar, which has been already described in a previous video, again linked in the description. And in this video, we're going to look at the options that we have in this panel down here, which are the options for the Select Similar Histogram. So if you actually look at the options right here, the first thing that you're going to have is the geometric property that you want to use for your histogram. You have three options. One is the radius of curvature, then the area, and then the perimeter. We're going to use for now the default option, which is the radius of curvature. Right below that, you have the things that you can use to better define your histogram, like the minimum range and the maximum range, and of course the number of levels that you want, which has a default value of 9. If I print my histogram, you can see that the histogram is going to be printed to the messages window. In this case, again, we are looking at the histogram for the radius of curvature of all the quilts that you have in that geometry in front of you. If you look at this table right here, you can see that first row is going to be a category flat. So basically, it's going to list all the quilts that are considered flat. In this particular case, we have 19 quilts. And if you have the selection mask set up properly, you can select those quilts, and you can see that they're going to be selected in your display window, and of course, also in the appropriate place in the list panel. You also have a couple of options in your table. One is going to be the above max and the below min. So if you were to define values for the minimum range and the maximum range appropriately, of course, these two entries on the table, they would be populated. In this case, they indicate 0 because, of course, we're using the automatic minimum range and maximum range, which correspond to the minimum radius of curvature in this geometry and the maximum radius of curvature in the geometry. Right below those, you have those 9 levels that we have defined for our histogram. One thing to keep in mind is that if you have consecutive levels that contain 0 quilts, those are all going to be grouped together in a single row in my table. As you can see right here, that happened for the levels that go from 2 through 7. Again, you can actually select your quilts for a particular level in this way, as you can see, and basically use those as needed. So if we actually go to the second option, things are going to be similar. You can print, for example, the histogram for the area, and you're going to get something similar as you see right here. For example, I can see that the minimum level that you have in this case is that number right there, which is 7.41. That is the smallest area that I have in this particular set of quilts. So if I were to put as the minimum range 8.0, and then I reprint my histogram, you can see that I have 8 quilts below the minimum range that I have specified. I can click on that X right here and go back to the automatic value. Last but not least, the concept is very similar. If you want to print the histogram for the perimeter of all the quilts that you have in here, again, things like these are going to happen. So any consecutive levels that contain 0 quilts are going to be all grouped together in a single row in your table. And this is how you can actually print the histogram, and use the histogram to select similar entities. If you like this video, be sure to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, drop us a line down below or connect with us on LinkedIn, which is linked in the description. Thank you all and have a pleasant Tuesday.